Hey, welcome back, Broncos, to Crossing the Alameda. This is the podcast where we reconnect the Santa Clara University class of 1991 through authentic conversations about our SCU days, the journey since graduation, and what life looks like now. I'm Charles, and I'm here with our two co-hosts, AJ and Mike. Carrie can't be with us today, but she sends her love and will definitely be listening later. AJ, it's great to see you. How you doing?
Good morning, Charles. Great to be here. Can't wait to get to our next guest.
Excellent. Mike, how are you doing? You want to introduce our guest?
I'm good. I'm very excited to introduce our next guest. Yes, so absolutely. Today, we're excited to introduce Matt Semansky. Some of you might know him affectionately as Stick. And Matt lived in McLaughlin as a freshman. He later became a history major. And if you want to know the soundtrack to Matt's Santa Clara days, it's Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. So definitely a favorite of us, class of 1991. Some may know, Matt and I were fellow captains of the Santa Clara men's lacrosse team. He was always very graceful with the stick and had good offensive skills, so hence the name Stick. And also, Matt was a member, or is, I should say, a member of the Santa Clara Men's Lacrosse Hall of Fame. So he has some serious skill sets there. I'm very excited to welcome aboard and have him and catch up with him. Since graduating, Matt has built a career in financial services. He served as a general manager for a private family office. He also had some stints with Lehman Brothers and Great West Life. And he earned an MBA from the University of Southern California, so that other SC, a little more south than Santa Clara itself. And in 2019, he became a member of the board for the Santa Clara Jesuit School of Theology. So very impressive there. Matt's been married to Amy, who he met skiing in Tahoe, and they have 3 children together. So there's Andrew, Emma, and Julia. And yay, Julia, Bronco. She's a sophomore there, living in Casa Italiana, which was that posh new accommodations that were built when we were down at Santa Clara. And overall, he's kind of in the process of getting the kids out of the house, and he's with his wife. And in his free time, he enjoys skiing, cycling, and there was something else, skiing, cycling, and swimming. So, Matt, we are very excited to have you on board. How are you doing today?
I am great. It's so good to see you guys. Charles, AJ, Mike. Mike, you must be taking the Benjamin Button serum or something. You look amazing.
I can say the same for you.
It's just so great that you guys are doing this. It's like a warm-up for the reunion and just so great to connect and see what's going on with some of our classmates and bring back some fun memories and funny stories. And really, it's a labor of love you guys are doing. So thank you. Wonderful. Good to see you all.
Good to see you, Stick. A lot of years, man. A lot of years. And it's been been fun to still
I probably
be
see AJ the most frequently if they're true.
True, but also I think you and I had a lot of good times back in the SCU days as well, even though, we're both, A's fans. I think that was a common unifier right out of the gate. And I was privileged enough to spend a little time with Matt up in the Berkeley Hills in Claremont, where his mom lived. And he's been a lifelong friend. And Stick, we're stoked you're here, man. It's so good to see you. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, it's great to be here. Great to be with you guys.
So let's dive in. This format, we take you to the back then, we take you to 87 to 91 years, and then we gotta get you caught up to what's going on, in the present. So right out of the gate, this is the one we'd like to ask. Tell us one vivid memory from SCU that still makes you smile, cringe, or maybe a little bit of both. And I'm sure you have plenty to pick from.
Oh my God. I think that's sort of the tail of the tape of my experience at Santa Clara. Lots of moments that I probably take back. One that comes to mind, Mike might have been there for this one. We were on a lacrosse trip in Los Angeles, and we'd been out at night, and we came back, and we're walking through the sort of courtyard hotel, and there's a swimming pool in the middle. And one of my knucklehead teammates just said, "Hey, let's go swimming. Let's jump in," and acts like everybody act like they're getting naked. So I just beat everybody to the punch, strip down, jump in the pool, and come up to everybody running away with my clothes. Yeah. So I'm chasing my lacrosse guys through the courtyard inn or whatever in near LAX and running around the airport, the hotel, trying to find my pants. And yeah, it's good. It was good. But I got them back. I got them back by climbing out my hotel window into their window, short sheeting their bed just perfectly, and then leaving some other pranks in the room for later. So, but memories like that are kind of like, that's the fabric of a college experience for sure.
Nice, sweet revenge. Glad you got.
Yeah.
I do. I remember that trip, and I remember you being in the pool. But I hadn't thought about that for probably 30 years.
That's one that comes to mind. I know there's got to be other embarrassing moments, but that was one of them.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Matt, you named Mario Bellotti as your favorite professor. What made him stand out for you? And is there something that you still remember from his classes?
Oh yeah, Mario Bellotti was amazing, and I'm probably not the only person who names him. He was. I think maybe that was the time I started really kind of latching on to the content of. I started as a history major, but the further I got into history, I think it was the economic side and the finance side that was kind of getting my curiosity a little more. And Bellotti just, I thought, kind of treated his students like adults and spent the whole money and banking class I took from him was like, we had father cause economics was level 1, but when you got into the Bellotti classes, it was a lot more academic. And his money in banking, his discussions about liquidity were just very memorable. I even went back, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. He was giving an economic update at Santa Clara, and I drove down there and sat and listened to him. And he hadn't lost a step. He was friends with Milton Freeman, and he was bringing that conversation into the classroom, which was, pretty amazing. So he comes to mind. There are many, many other professors. Tim O'Keefe was a great history professor. Zorn was a really colorful English lit professor we had. We all had Father Cos at some point, who was, a wonderful guy who actually lived on my dorm freshman year. So I think, that school gives you a lot of proximity to your professors and administrators. So it's great that we all have those relationships.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, and you're right. Mario Bellotti has come up quite a bit in the conversations. We should probably start keeping a
Right.
tally. The Crossing the Alameda award goes to Bellotti.
Right. I mean, the award must have been out from other upperclassmen to say, "Oh, you got to take this guy." I mean, I think we all kind of piled into those classes.
Hey, good call on O'Keefe,
it
by
was
the
good.
way.
It
Tim
was good.
O'Keefe was, I agree with you, Matt. Tim O'Keefe was dynamite. I mean, I remember having Irish history
He
with
was
him.
wonderful.
And
He became my advisor. I had someone else. I switched to O'Keefe, and I think he was kind of amused by me a little bit, like, kind of, you ever going to get serious about your studies? But he helped me navigate and make sure I had all the right classes, and so he was good. And I took 2 or 3 history classes from him too, which were really a treasure.
100%. I agree with that one for sure. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you already mentioned that Father Cos was on your freshman floor from McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about McLaughlin, because you were, we were all in Swig, or most of us were in Swig, and then actually Charles came sophomore year, but we don't get a lot of McLaughlin clans, so let's hear what's going on there.
McLaughlin was great. I think I was a little bit overwhelmed by Swig. I'm like, that's going to be a circus. I want to be near the circus, but not in the circus. So McLaughlin had the top floor with a lot of great guys who were all freshmen. So Mike French across the hall, Walter Young across the hall, Rusey was down the hall, Tim Moran was down the hall, and Father Cos lived there. So we had Mark Modest was across the hall. We had a lot of great guys on that floor. And so that was just a full freshman experience. But then also in that building were transfer students. And so Rick Waldinger was downstairs and some other guys that we got to know. That was really fun. So I thought McLaughlin was perfect. I was facing Swig. I got all the noise and craziness. I had a water balloon break through my window one night. No one at Swig would tell me who did it, but it was great. And it was a perfect experience. And one night at Swig, in McLaughlin, I think it was spring break. No one was there. So I just start like chipping golf balls down the hallway, and they're whacking against the wall at the other end. And then out totters Father Cos. I didn't even know he was there. And he's like, "Hey, what's going on, Semansky?" And ended up that we walked down to his room and had a beer and talked about it. But no investigation, no trouble from that. But McLaughlin was great. Really a great place to live.
That's all. I remember because you and I were lacrosse, and so we got stuck. I think at spring break we got stuck in the dorms. I did the same thing. I wasn't chipping golf balls, but I was playing my music super loud, and then here comes, I don't remember his name, but the resident minister. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I did not know you're here. But then I end up going in this room and having a beer. It's like,
You're like, I thought
there you
I was
are.
here by myself. Yeah,
Same
exactly.
boat. Same boat.
Yeah, that's probably the same spring break.
Yeah.
So Matt, McLaughlin, did you lived in Dunn, right? You were on the Dunn second year, right?
I
Yeah,
lived across the hall from you. You and Steve
That's
Bannon. I
right.
was across the hall with Tom Bannon. Tim Thornhill was
that's right, you
across the
lived with
hall. That was a
Tommy.
great
Yeah, yeah,
place.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
fun year there.
That was a fun year
Yep.
too. Yeah. So hey, if we're going back to Santa Clara, and
And we had-
obviously Julia's there now, which is awesome. What's the first thing
Yeah.
you're doing on day one? When you show up on campus, like where you going? What's a fond memory, or like what's something that you like, kind of lives with you, kind of still to this day that says Santa Clara.
So, like a lot of people would on your show mention they would go to the Hut, and that's a great place. And I'm not no shade on the Hut, but the place I would go back to if I had a chance would be the Sandwich King. I mean, that was
Sandwich King.
Get around longer. It was great food, and you'd get your grilled turkey and ham and cheese and a basket of fries, pitcher of beer, spin the wheel. I mean, I probably speak for all of you guys, but the 1 hour lunch at the Sandwich King that turned into an entire afternoon was not an uncommon situation. And that place was great. The guys that ran it were awesome. And that was really fun. But beyond that, what else? A good day party, a Margaritaville party or one of those parties at Rugby House were always incredible. And so much of the day of my time at Santa Clara was spent with Mike Kline and everybody else playing lacrosse. So whether it was just an evening practice or a Saturday game or something, that was a really huge part of my time there. That was wonderful. So I'm going to be on my hit list. Day party, Sandwich King, lacrosse practice, something like that would be a perfect day.
Oh, nice. Sounds
That's
great.
a pretty good day. That's a pretty good
That
day.
would be a
I'm
good
with you.
day.
And so when we graduated, we kind of thought we knew what to expect from the outside world, but a lot of us found it was considerably different. Was there something that you thought or expected from life after graduation that was completely changed, like completely off?
That's an interesting question. I don't think Charlie, I couldn't think there was like one thing that just hit me in the face, like this is real. I mean, I think I got kind of late to the game as far as figuring out the job search and career, probably not to my senior year. I think all of us get kind of hit with that cold water of going to work every day and having to pay the rent. That was a real thing. And then, but I don't know. I felt like Santa Clara was a really great place because of the peers that we had. You had a lot. No matter who you were hanging out with, people were sort of focused on the right things, I thought. And so the kind of work hard, play hard mentality kind of transitioned without too much friction into the working world. I think that wasn't like day one. I was shocked. I was like, okay, people were telling me this is what to expect, so let's get to it.
Nice. Yeah.
You know,
So, Matt, you already mentioned it a little. Let me see here. You mentioned this already, but tell me a little more about lacrosse and, what that meant for you at Santa Clara. I know I always enjoyed, playing lacrosse with you, and you made me such a better player because I remember in one-on-one drills, I always had to go against you at one point, and so it was a challenge. And, I still think about being with Frenchie and Mean Gene and you and the guys, and it meant so much to me to be a part of that. But I'm kind of curious about yourself and some of the stories you have there.
I just think the more the time goes on, the more grateful I am to have had that experience. I mean, I walked on to the campus not even knowing if we had a real program. I brought my gear, and within a couple weeks, just had an instant group of friends across classes, and then it gave us structure of something to do every day. It was I can't say enough about it. I mean, to be able to have played athletics in college is not that common, and Santa Clara just had that great program. I mean, it was a varsity sport then. We got locker rooms and trainers and practice fields, and they served us dinner after practice. And I don't know what we did to deserve that. It was a really special time to get to meet, you, Mike, and all of our teammates, Mike French and Jean Achon. If you got to track those guys down, I'd love to see them. But 2 or 3 classes older and several classes younger, I think that's one of the core of the people who I'm still in touch with. I can't even tell you how many games we won or lost, but I just had so much fun going to practice, road trips, games, going out after games, going to, it was a really perfect part I don't know what I would have done with all that time if I didn't have some sport like that. Probably ended up playing rugby with AJ. That would have been bad.
That
That
would have
would have
been
been a
good.
terrible decision.
It would. It might have been. It might have been. You were a great athlete, man. I mean, I remember. I mean, obviously, rugby and lacrosse shared the same practice facility, and we always had kind of a good spirited rivalry between the two club sports because we were club
Yeah.
sports, and then we somehow, I don't know how rugby became a varsity sport, but it did for like one shining moment. I mean, I laughed because I was talking to Mike about getting my varsity jacket, and we were giggling about that, but like, it was just fun to be with you guys, and we were kind of rugby and lacrosse were kind of a lot of the same cats. Just you guys had helmets and sticks, and we just want to go smash each other's heads together. But like, it was fun. And I think it was a good for us. I think we all kind of grew up in that thing, right? We're club sports, the varsity, and it was such a pleasure to be friends with the lacrosse guys. I mean, we used to get you guys in a little bit of trouble because anytime that we did something dumb on campus, we'd say we played for the lacrosse team. So it's like, who are you with? Santa Clara Lacrosse. So it was every freshman that came. Do you guys know that? Every freshman that would join us, like every year, you tell the freshmen, look, if you get in trouble, tell them that you play for Santa Clara Lacrosse, not for Santa Clara Rugby. And so
Oh my
we
God.
didn't
guys
know
were
that.
fall guys every year. You are our foil. Anytime public safety caught us, it's like, who are you guys with? We're like, Santa Clara Lacrosse. And then everybody start running away every different direction. We were not lacrosse way. They should have,
man.
but you guys were
That
the
sounds
ultimate,
about right.
So thank you guys for being our cover for 4 years. It was great. Appreciate you.
Oh man. Well, I got my full
crazy.
dose of rugby with my senior year. I had 4 rugby players as my roommates, and I think our house kind of became one of the de facto hangout places for the ruggers. It was demolished. I lost my deposit by like week 1 in that place.
Oh,
It was
man.
bad. Yeah. One of those moments you really enjoy, but you never want to do again. Living with rugby team.
Yeah, we had a great.
So
we,
Matt-
had,
Can
we,
imagine,
used,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we used to have family dinners. We had family dinner. We'd pregame. We'd have family dinners at your guys' house. We'd San Giacomo bust out
I
pesto.
remember
And it was unbelievable. We had tri-tip, and then that would be our
you
Friday
guys
night
were,
game
you
deal.
guys are great at cooking, not so good at dishes.
Right?
Yeah, you guys made great
mean,
meals, but not big on doing dishes. So
Not big on doing
can't be
dishes.
good at everything.
You do the dishes, you throw them in the
No.
garbage. That's how you do them.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's a fun memory.
So Matt, catch us up on your life since graduation. Like some key points and unexpected detours on your way to today.
Yeah, I think being a history major, I think I probably imagined I was going to go to law school out of Santa Clara, but realized by sneaking into the law library to study for finals that those people study really hard. And I wasn't ready for that for another 4 years. I would assume I had been studying hard, but so I went into a sales job and just loved it. And it was sort of a financial services type sale that got my interest peaked in that. And I was just sort of unafraid to go sell stuff and talk to people. And when I went back to grad school, I realized no one in grad school wanted to be in sales anymore. And investment banks were looking for salespeople. So I took that job at Lehman Brothers to do call on high net worth clients, which was super interesting. And a really fun chapter of meeting people who were super smart in the given field. They just needed help sorting out their personal investment world. And then that led me to work with one client for the last, sort of 20 plus years, working just to focus on their stuff, which has been a really interesting chapter of my life and to really focus narrowly with one client, but deeply into everything they're involved in. So it's an industry that's kind of grown up in the last 20 years. You hear about it more. At the time, no one really knew these things existed, but it's much more popular now. And that's been a fun. I don't know if never expected I'd be in that role, but I think a lot of us could probably say that about our careers. You don't know where they're going to go. On the personal front, I've been really lucky to kind of live in the area where I grew up and not far from Santa Clara, and family life has been terrific. And I think probably like some of you, we're kind of coming out of that 20-year period where it's just been an absolute blur of raising kids and working hard and hustling back from work to coach CYO basketball, and then getting the kids on skis. And I mean, God, it's been wonderful, wonderful. And now we're kind of seeing them head out the door and launching themselves, and that's an exciting chapter as well. I mean, just to kind of go from that role of wiping noses to coaching kids, and now kind of being a mentor and career advisor of how they launch. So, in a nutshell, that's sort of what's been going on in our life, and just blessed that, all of our parents are still alive and healthy, and enjoying being that and being grateful for that every day. And try to just live in the moment. It's a good moment to be in.
That's great. Yeah, the kid thing happens fast, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? It's crazy. I mean, here we are remembering being in college, and now they're the ones enjoying that experience.
Right.
So, but that's our job now, to facilitate that, build that platform for them.
Oh man.
Yeah, pass it on. Pass it on.
That's exactly right.
It's good.
All right.
So, Matt, what does a typical day look like for you these days?
Well, I never really got into the work from home thing. So I've always been fortunate to have an office to go to. So starting, back when I worked for Lehman Brothers and worked market hours, I get up early. That's my time to get up and enjoy those first few hours of the day, to either work or exercise or clear your head with a long swim or something like that. So I'm kind of an early up and early to bed. And my office just moved from Oakland to Lafayette, so it's even closer. So my commute has disappeared, which is amazing. A little bit of travel, not too bad. And what else? Just, trying to balance it out with some exercise and reading and catching up with friends. And, that's kind of the drill for me right now.
So, hey, Matt, so
Well,
a little
sounds
bit
good.
about
That sounds like a nice
but
day.
without talking about, like, your client specific, like, what is it like when you work in the private family office sector? Like, what's that kind of work entail? I mean, you kind of said it is a broad spectrum. Like, what are you kind of facilitating for that office and for that family?
Well, I think if you talk to 10 different people who work in the family office, they're going to have 10 different job descriptions. So if you work for a family that's a founder of a tech company, they're going to be really supporting, and they may have a ton of single stock concentration where, they're working on that. If you work for a family that has built an empire in real estate, you're going to be hands-on of property management and real estate management. We started as sort of a endowment model of being really diversified. We've developed some concentrations in real estate. There's a foundation involved, but overall, you're just doing the same thing that your families need, but just with more stuff. You're dealing with insurance and bill pay and portfolio management and staffing, and really just looking at the agenda of the family, what they want to accomplish, with their time and their resources, and trying to make that work. Every day is different, AJ, and it's sometimes you're putting out fires, sometimes you're making smart decisions and being doing some analysis on that, and other times you're thinking about taxes. It's all sort of a interconnected set of objectives and tools that we use to approach every day. But every day I just get up and have a clean slate and like, okay, let's go move the ball forward today.
Right.
Little wins.
I mean, 2003, you're doing
Very
something
nice.
right, my friend. You're doing something right for sure. So that's awesome. I appreciate you kind of explaining that, because, yeah, I can see, like, depending on who you're with, it could definitely be a different answer for whoever your client or entity that you're
Yeah,
supporting is,
absolutely.
But it's basically all
That's right.
needs
So
based, right? I mean,
we end up being sort of, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Good. So, Matt, walk us through, is there a particular challenge or something that you've had to overcome since university that you could share with us? Or, this might be something you're pretty much proud of. Obviously, we're all proud of our kids and our jobs and whatnot, but
Yeah.
is there anything particular that you're proud of that you'd like to share with the group?
I don't think I have. I'm not in a big self-promotion mode right now. I don't think there's any one thing. I haven't cured cancer. I haven't overcome cancer, thank God. No, I think, one thing I'm pretty excited about it's been 6 or 7 years now, is joining the board of the Jesuit school at Santa Clara. Has been a really unique, something unexpected. And it's funny, you had Gina Finicaro on the show, and I think maybe she goes by Regina now. Is that what she said? But Gina's sister, Diana, reached out and kind of pulled me into the JST about 2019. And I'll tell you what, I didn't know the first thing about theology. And I told Kevin O'Brien, I'm like, I don't know anything about theology, but if you think there's something I can be helpful, I will. But that has been a really interesting sort of gateway or portal into seeing how Santa Clara University works at a larger scale. And I think it's given me a really interesting purview into the Jesuit tradition and how that theology impacts Santa Clara. If you look at Santa Clara over the last 5, 6 years, you haven't seen any of the protests or conflict that you've seen at some other really terrific schools across the country. You didn't have these Palestinian Israeli conflicts on campus. And I think what Santa Clara provides, that's not an accident. I think Santa Clara has this really, really special culture that's rooted in Jesuit tradition where there are traditional values of families that send their kids to Santa Clara. And at the same time, it's a progressive school. And the Jesuit tradition is that is service to others and helping the needy. And Santa Clara has a lot of tolerance for different viewpoints. So you can come to Santa Clara, but you're not force fed a conservative doctrine or a liberal doctrine. You're sort of allowed to explore these things. And I think those college years are an important time where you want to test out those new thoughts you're having and carry those forward into your futures. As I get to know more about Santa Clara in that sense, I'm super excited that Julia is there and getting to participate in that. But you look around our world and you see interesting alums from Santa Clara like Leon Panetta and Janet Napolitano and Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom. And you might not agree. I don't agree with all their politics. They're all over the place, but they're all have that that thoughtful approach to their world and our world. And Santa Clara is a big part of that. So I've got a new perspective on that by being part of the board of JST and sort of adjacent to the other Santa Clara administration. It's been really a great chapter to do that.
That's awesome. So Gina brought you into it. What made you say yes?
Well, Gina's sister Diana did. Diana was local friend here. Our
Okay.
kids all went to school together at local Catholic schools. And I just had kind of wanted to get back in touch with Santa Clara a little bit more. And this is, like I said, 8 years ago or so. And when I expressed that, she said, "Well, be careful what you ask for, Matthew. I got a spot for you."
All right.
And then here we are. So it's brilliant people in that school and on the board. It's a great opportunity and a challenge to keep up in that group.
Oh, fantastic. And it's been great to reconnect with SCU that way and be involved.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I got to know Julie Sullivan through that. She's amazing. And to have a first lay person be such a superstar is a real asset for Santa Clara. So that's something we should all be excited about.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic.
Matt, I really appreciate your explanation of that. I mean, I think that sometimes it's unclear. Sometimes, okay, Santa Clara has obviously, become a more progressive school, but I appreciate the fact that you've kind of provided some saliency to like the whole, this is why, and I think that's an interesting viewpoint, especially when we talk about Palestine, Israel, and to bring up something like that and be like, yeah, you didn't see, the mass protests and people going crazy on the campus. And I think that it's really great that you've had that insight as a layperson. And also it was a tremendous explanation of what, what the Jesuit school of theology means to the university. So thank you for that. It's just,
That's a real asset. I think you're going to see that asset. The JST is a real asset to Santa Clara. I think you'll see it become more so in the next few years.
That's so great. So, hey, you and Amy, 3 kids, you're close to launch here, right? You got a few out the door. You got a few still in school. Like, what's felt like the most surprisingly, what's felt really great about this kind of stage? And then I think you kind of hit on a little bit, like you kind of gone from like wiping noses to coaching to maybe mentoring, and it's that evolution as a parent. Like, what's been really rewarding about that? And then what's been hard or what continues to be hard?
I don't know. I think we've been really blessed so far. I know for certain some of our friends and colleagues and other Santa Clara people have been really challenged with tragedies in their life. And so I want to be respectful of that. We've been really blessed with a pretty easy road from our family standpoint. But I think this, I think as a parent, as a dad, you're kind of in the passenger seat a lot when the kids are young, and the mom's really taking charge. But as they get older and closer to their career, they're kind of coming full circle back to dad, like, "Hey, how does this work?" And that part's been a fun experience. And I just think we're all going through the same thing of how much do you want to get involved and how much do you want to let them do their own thing? And our generation of parents is probably going to go down as a helicopter group. So we try to hold back and let them stumble, make their own mistakes, and sometimes they do, and we come in and pick up the pieces. But fortunately, we haven't had any train wrecks yet. There's still time.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Beautiful.
is it helicopter, or I've also heard snowplow? That has been, I think there are different kinds of entities,
that's right.
right? Like the snowplow parent's almost worse than the helicopter parent on some level. Because it's like,
You're right. That's right. No, it's there's a lot of supervision, a lot of ongoing monitoring. And now these kids launch, they got to be equipped to have made a few stumbles so they know how to pick themselves up.
Yeah.
But you guys are all good parents that are dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah,
I
parenting
think
has been a common theme for many of us. It's good.
I was going to say, I think it was easier to parent when you just had to wipe your kid's nose and put a Band-Aid on. I think parenting adults in this day and age has been a little more challenging than I kind of anticipated a little bit. Like, I think the world's a little loud right now, and it's helping your child kind of navigate not just their own path, but like how do they find themselves? What's their fit in the world, and like how do you reduce that noise level so that you can find your own path? Your own truth. I don't know. It's pretty wild.
That's a really good way to put it. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise, and we used to have this thing where we wouldn't give our kids phones until like 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. We'd give them a contract where they had to get certain grades, and we'd pick the grades that were hardest for them to get. And no matter how talented they were, they always missed the phone contract by one grade every time. And they were so mad. They were so mad at the time. Like, God, you guys are terrible parents. But just recently, you have these full circle moments every once in a while. Just recently, my son Andrew said, you didn't get me that phone until I was in 8th grade, but you should have kept it even longer.
Wow.
Because he knows, he's like, these things are toxic. And so every once in a while, you get a little kernel back from your kids that you actually did something that wasn't terrible. But that noise you're talking about, AJ, is a real thing. It's true for all of us. Just you got to find a way to turn it down.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to you for finding the inner strength to keep that phone.
Not a popular move, Charles.
Yeah, not a popular move.
But also good on Andrew.
That.
Good on Andrew for recognizing he should have been off it a little longer. And I think that's a real net positive. Like, you've done a good job as a parent. If your child has the self-awareness to say, maybe I shouldn't have the phone until 10th grade, or, and I think we all know how it is out there. Right. And I think good on him for being able to have that self-awareness. I mean, that's hard, so good for him. Yeah.
It is good. By the way, his middle initial is a J, so he goes by AJ also. So as a nod to the big fella.
Does he really go by AJ? Do his friends call him AJ?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Not so much, but we do, and some people do. Yeah, but I wouldn't agree to name Andrew unless Andy could find a J for the middle initial. So we could call him AJ when we need to. And then when she met AJ Riebli, she's like, now
Arnold
I get.
was tough.
Oh, I understand. This is great.
Being Arnold wasn't easy, right? Like, you growing up,
I can imagine that was a challenge.
Dude, the only cool Arnold was Arnold from Happy Days, and I don't even know if that was super cool. Like, thank God Schwarzenegger finally showed up. Thank God for Schwarzenegger, man. He saved Arnold for me.
He made it cool.
Gary Coleman on Different Strokes was an Arnold, right? Arnold Jackson.
There you go.
Is that right?
Yeah. Good old Gary. God bless his soul. Yeah. So where are we going now, Mike?
It's about time for the Fast Five, I believe.
All right.
So these are 5 questions we're going to throw at you. No wrong answers, just a lot of fun. So if you could have dinner with any historical figure, and you're a history major, so you might have to bring the game on this one. Who would that be?
This is a tough question for me. I think you want the dinner to be interesting and you want it to be fun. I'm kind of partial to people who were at the core of when something happened. So I know this is too common, but if you could have dinner with Jesus, I mean, there's a lot of questions I have about what went down there. If you could have dinner with Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers, and take what did you have in mind and where are we now? That would be interesting. That'd be fascinating to me. But then I think you'd want somebody funny at dinner too. You'd want a Eddie Murphy or a Ricky Gervais or John Cleese or someone to keep it popping. But gosh, the landscape is littered with people to have dinner with. But I'd want someone from ground zero and somebody to keep it light.
Nice. A little dinner party. I like it.
That's
That
right.
is a dinner I want to be invited to, for sure.
Mike Kline and Mike Kline. Right.
Now I'll be the humble guest who just had to, show up for the extra seat.
That's right.
All right, question 2. You've just woken up. What are you reaching for? Coffee, tea, or something else?
Oh, coffee. Yeah. We just got a new coffee maker. I'm getting beans from the store in San Francisco, Grafeo. Maybe you guys know it. Oh, it's just like, I can't give up coffee. It's 2 cups before I'm out the door. It's 2 more cups at work. If I could drink it all day, I would, but I can't go much past 1:00 in the afternoon. But coffee. I'm going to go get another cup of coffee after that.
Just talking about it.
And Mike, you're in Spain and coffee in Europe is so great. This whole culture around it. I mean, you leave me alone in city of Madrid or Rome or Florence for a few minutes. I'm at a coffee shop, just espresso after another. Bam. That's it. So that's an easy question, Charles. Coffee.
Perfect.
Well, hopefully Julia ends up in Madrid. You come visit. We're going to have coffee.
Oh, God, I love it. I hope so.
Hey, you're walking, you get invited to a backroom karaoke. What's your song? What's your go-to? What's Stick getting on the mic with in a karaoke world?
Wow. So I'll be honest with you. When karaoke gets going, I kind of avoid it. I just kind of slink into the background and try not to get pulled in. But I can't carry a tune in a bucket. I just can't. So, if there's a sing-along, there's a GNR sing-along or a, Bohemian Rhapsody, I'll be in the chorus, but, I'm not going to be out with the mic, crooning. I've tried it. It just doesn't go very well. And I know
what have you tried? What have you tried and failed at? Like, what was that song? You're like, you didn't go Take on Me by Aha or something like really like nobody should ever do that song.
But, I think some of us think that we could probably do an okay Frank Sinatra, and I just can't. It's just not very good. So I've probably tried that a few times and I hear it and like, yeah, that's bad. So I'm not going to be leading the charge to karaoke. I will be a reluctant participant for sure.
All right.
Good question, though. I didn't see that one coming.
Excellent answer.
Here's a little different one, a little more serious from the other ones, but no holds barred, no skill set required. What's a career that you would just totally different from what you do that you might take on board if you could have your druthers?
That's an interesting question. I just read this article the other day about a volunteer group of rescue, like first responders in the Smoky Mountains. And I don't know how to do, I can do CPR, but I don't know how to do all that crazy EMT stuff. But that seems like a really cool combination of being outdoors, helping people in a tough situation, and teamwork. So you can't really rule that out. If we put our mind to it, we could probably get a job like that in the future. But that is so different than what I do every day. That would be really a chance to just like take all this finance and money stuff and just put it in a box and go help people with a broken leg on a trail somewhere. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Very cool. All right. Final question. Nice. What is your all-time favorite quotable movie? And can you give us a little taste if you want to give us your favorite quote?
Wow.
We blew Matt's mind. We overwhelmed him with that one.
So many. Quotable movie, is probably it's probably something like Best in Show. You know, the Christopher Gap, Spinal Tap series, and within Best in Show, you know, I think the actor that's the color commentator that's watching the dog show, and he's saying all these funny things about the people with the dogs, and he's like, now would that dog there, would that be your linebacker, or would that dog be your tight end? And that dog, you know, you put a little Sherlock Holmes outfit on him. What's his name? He's a great actor. And that with Catherine O'Hara just dying, that the movie's been top of mind. But that movie is one of my all time favorites. And if I can pull tease little quotes out of that, it gets.
Oh, excellent.
So-
I believe it's Fred Willard, right?
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly
Yes.
right. That's
Fantastic.
exactly right.
Yes.
He's a
I'm
genius.
right there with you. Right there
Oh,
with you.
absolutely genius with that. I
There's
agree
so
with you
many-
there. Yeah, Best in Show.
I think he
Finish
also has
show.
a
Spot for me.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt, we're in the home stretch here. So, you know, if you could give your graduating SCU self one piece of advice besides not living with rugby guys, knowing what you know now,
Right.
what would that piece of advice be?
Oh man, I think my going back and giving that student some advice would be to kind of work harder and play harder. It would be study a little harder in school, get a little more focused a little bit earlier, but don't forget to have fun. I think, you know, we all did a lot of both of those, but there were so many opportunities right under my nose at Santa Clara that I just probably missed because I wasn't aware, I wasn't focused on that. And it all worked out fine, but I think about the proximity we had to so many interesting things happening in the late 80s, early 90s in the Silicon Valley. And a lot of us grabbed onto that stuff and some of us went on to do different things. So I think I'd probably tell myself, you know, work hard, play hard, and do both a little harder than you were.
That's
Well,
sound
I do
advice.
remember we
Awesome.
worked hard and play hard in the lacrosse field. That's for sure.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
But I
mean,
also
you look
think
at those
you
kids
said
now in cuddle sport, they work even harder.
I can't
You know.
imagine being a student athlete now.
No, like the training, the workouts, the diet, the regimen. I mean, it's a different world now. But I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade
Nope.
it. And you know what, AJ? If the older me came and told the younger me something, the younger me probably wouldn't listen. So, so there's that.
I think that is I think I think a lot of us are in that camp, right? Like I should have listened to my older me, or even like, you know, I think
Yeah.
as parents, we offer up a lot of good advice, but it's because it's coming out of our mouth that our kids sometimes doesn't resonate, right? You're like, I'm saying something, I know
Right.
you can hear me, but if it comes out of somebody else's mouth, like, I just learned this brilliant thing. You're like, yeah, I was trying to help you with that 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, you know, I think I agree.
Sure.
And work hard, play hard. I think we all can all speak to that of like, I think Santa Clara had a lot of things on offer. Like I should have gone to the Jesuit Museum more. Like they had amazing art there. Like they had amazing, I mean,
That's right.
you think about all the things that we didn't kind of go do, or like music, or the schools always offer so much. And I think sometimes we're so focused on our studies and our sport, and then also trying to have fun, that sometimes you don't realize that
Yep.
there's so much more to college, I think, than sometimes we get in a kind of more narrow path or focus. Like I'm just doing rugby. I'm just doing lacrosse. And
Yep.
we kind
That's
of
right.
on sometimes, you know, I also think, I don't know if this happened for you guys, but like senior year, I stumbled onto a whole bunch of people that were in our class that were super cool that I didn't know for the first 3 years at school. Like you're like, oh man, this person's awesome. Why didn't I, you know, how come we never hung out? Like, you know, I think
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. And I think being self-aware is difficult when you're 20, 21, you know? So I don't know. Michael, you gonna take us out here?
Well, yeah. Well, let's. I want to give you Matt. I want to give you an opportunity to shout out. You know, you mentioned Frenchie and Mean Gene. I would love to get those guys on the show. So yeah, if they're listening somehow, great. But do you have a shout out? You want to give a shout out to the
Well,
class or anyone?
I've been trying to track down Mike French for 20 years. So if he comes across this, Mike, call me. I want to give a shout out to my boy, Brad Curry. We haven't seen in a while. And anybody who's watching this, just please come to the reunion. It's going to be a great time. And I'm excited to see everybody and just kind of enjoy our friendships and renew with some of them.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Wonderful.
Stick, you've been a pleasure. You've always been a pleasure. I'm proud to call you my friend, and I'm glad we're still friends
Thanks, brother.
35 years after Santa Clara. It's been great to watch us kind of grow up. I think, but we still got a little bit of that 19, 20, 21-year-oldness, and it's a good thing you should always itch that scratch. You should always itch it because you can't ever let it go, man. I think that I've appreciated that about you. And it's always in seeing you, we get a little good hard ribbing. And, I know I've called you Rick Astley, and I won't do that. I won't Rick roll you anymore. But you are a good looking man, much like Rick Astley. And by the way, Rick Astley that is a circa 87 to 91 tune. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
So,
It is.
maybe we
That
should
was
Rick
big
roll
in my
somebody on a
study of
future
Brockman.
show.
Yeah.
But man,
That's right.
thank you
Someone
so
should
much
name
for
Rick Aspen.
thank you so much for making the time to come on.
Absolutely. Thank you,
obviously,
guys. It's been wonderful.
we'll see you in
Thanks,
October,
Matt.
my man, or hopefully
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah, see
Thank you guys for doing this.
you in
Yeah, Matt.
October. And if your daughter wants to talk about Madrid or Barcelona, let me know.
You'll be in touch.
All right. This
Thanks,
has been
Mike.
so much fun, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great to see you, Charles.
All right. Thanks for listening to Crossing the Alameda. If you are enjoying these conversations, please follow our podcast on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Music. Share it with a Bronco friend. And if you want to send us suggestions for guests, or if you would like to be a guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us a line at crossingalameda@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we are building this together. We will see you next time.
Go Broncos!
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos!
All right.